Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video we are going to be reviewing a brand new Mcgrath palette. This palette comes out April 10th, 4 days before the Sephora sale starts, and it will be available at Sephora first. So if you're a rouge like me, you can just wait 4 more days till the 14th and get this palette with a 20% off coupon. If you're a VIB, you wait a few more days and you can get it with a 15% off coupon. The thing is though, even if you love Mcgrath, you might not have the need to get this palette because a lot of us already have it in our collections. The palette I'm talking about is of course the new Sublime palette. This is a mini palette, like I said, releasing on April 10th, and just like the previous version of this palette, a lot of the shades are already existing. The first time Mcgrath ever released a mini palette, it was this one right here, which I already have. This is the Midnight Voyage palette. So this new one is going to be this exact same way, this exact same size, and it is of course the same price. In this one, we had 5 out of the 6 shades that were already existing, but in the new Sublime Smoke palette, all 6 of the shades are already available. I have them all, so I'm going to be swatching all 6 of the shades for you, and we are going to be creating a look with them. I'm super excited for today's video. If you are too, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get started. It wasn't that long ago that I remember saying in one of my videos that I could not wait for Mcgrath to release more palettes like this one because I used this one recently. I love this mini palette. It is super affordable, super travel friendly, and it has Mcgrath's original formulas, the ones that she makes in Italy, the very rich and pigmented and blendable ones that we all love that are in her big mothership palettes. So when I saw today that she was coming out with a new one of these, I could not wait. I had to sit down to film this video. So let me tell you which palettes you would need to have in your collection in order to have all 6 shades that come in this mini palette already. Starting with mothership number 5 right here, there's 2 shades that are included in the new mini palette that are already existing shades, and they are part of mothership number 5. Here's my mothership number 5 palette, and the shades are this highlight shade here, which is called Skin Show Divine Glow, and then this bronzy shimmer shade right here in the center, which is called Bronze Blaze. The next palette you need to have, and I'm sort of just going in order, is mothership number 6, which is this one here. Let me pull mine out. And from this palette we have 3 different shades that are in the new one. We have this shade down here, which is called Extreme Dusk, the one right next to it, which is called Taboo, and this one right on top, which is called Bronze Eclipse, which is another shimmer shade. So that is 5 out of 6, and the last shade you can find in mothership number 7, which is one of my all-time favorites. I just love the rosy color story of this one, and the shade that we're missing is this one up here, which is called Extreme Mahogany, and this is one of my all-time favorite Mcgrath mattes right here. So let's go ahead and swatch the shades in the order in which they appear on the palette. And it's worth noting that having Midnight Voyage, I know that the formula that you will get in that new mini palette is pretty much exactly the same quality as the formula that you get in her bigger mothership palettes, just as creamy, just as pigmented. What you won't get is any of the Astral Blitz shades. All of the shades that she picks for her little palette are her regular formula, which is also amazing. Anyways, let's swatch Skin Show Divine Glow from mothership number 5. This is an amazing highlight shade for the inner corner of the eye or for right underneath the brows. The next color is going to be Taboo from mothership number 6. And this is a really nice warm transition color, super creamy. The third color is also from mothership number 6, and it's Bronze Eclipse. Let's go ahead and swatch it right here. So here's the top row, and I love that this palette has 3 mattes and 3 shimmers. First color on the bottom row, also from mothership number 6, is Extreme Dusk, which is the richest neutral dark brown matte. Let's go for it right here. Just take a look at how pigmented this color is. Just amazing. Back to mothership number 5 for Bronze Blaze, which is a slightly sparklier bronzy shade. And then from mothership number 7, one of my all-time favorite mattes, which is Extreme Mahogany. And this one completes the little palette. So check it out right here if you're someone who loves bronzy shades for the summertime and you're going on vacation anywhere. This little tiny palette from Pat McGrath might just be the only thing you need to take with you. I really love each and every one of these shades, and you can create some really stunning looks with this palette. The palette is already available to be seen on the Sephora website, so I'm going to leave you the link down below in the description box. And here are some of the images of the looks that you can create with these shades, which I think are absolutely stunning. This is definitely a color story that I feel very comfortable wearing on a daily basis. That would be perfect for vacation. It's something that you can tone down or smoke up to make very sultry and sexy. I'm definitely over the moon for this one. Plus, I really like how compact and teeny tiny these palettes are because they literally fit in your pocket. And even though I already have all 6 of the shades that are in this little palette, I will definitely be purchasing it myself and adding it to my collection because I know that since I've had this one, I've taken it with me whenever I leave my house. And I'm going to be doing the exact same thing with the little Sublime Smoke palette. Now let's go ahead and get into the eye look. I got my brushes ready, and while I was cleaning them, I was thinking of things that I would have done differently or things that I maybe didn't like about this color story. And I came up with a couple of things that I can have as feedback. The 2 bronzy shades are pretty close to one another. One is a bit sparklier than the other one, but they are still very similar to one another. And so I would have loved a little bit more variation when it came to those. But then I was thinking, well, what other shade could she have put in there that would make sense? And the only thing that would have excited me more, I think, is if she were to put an Astro Blitz shade in one of these little palettes. I know that for Pat McGrath, these palettes are super affordable. They're $29, but I would happily pay like $32 if one of the little tiny shades was an Astro Blitz shade. That would definitely make me as a consumer very, very happy, and I would spend the extra $3 to get an Astro Blitz shade in that little palette. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got as far as things that I would be happier with when it comes to this color story. Anyways, I have my REPHR number 27 brush right here, which I'm going to use for my crease because my number 15 is still missing. And I'm going to start with the lightest matte shade that the little palette has, which is the shade Taboo from Mothership number 6. And with my fluffy brush, I'm going to blend Taboo on the crease of my eye. I started back here where I want it to be a bit more concentrated, and then I am spreading it up and in all throughout the crease of my eye. Pat McGrath shades are all very pigmented, but they blend very easily, especially if you have natural hair brushes. I've noticed that I struggle a bit more if my brushes are synthetic, but with natural hair brushes, Pat McGrath shadows blend like an absolute dream. So take a look at the shade Taboo, blend it all throughout the crease of my eye. And of course, we're doing the same thing over on this side. This shade Taboo is really nice and bronzy. It's got certain warmth to it that I really love, but if you wanted to combine it with like a cool tone brown, you could. The same way you could combine it with something with a very warm undertone. I, of course, want to try to use all of the shades that the palette has, so jumping to Mothership number 7 and the shade Extreme Mahogany, with a smaller fluffy brush, I'm going to darken up the outer corner of my eye. Look at how beautiful and pigmented this shade is. This is my favorite matte shade that this palette is going to have. And I'm going to just blend Extreme Mahogany into Taboo, just back and forth with my blending brush. Love the way this is looking. So one more time, we first tap in place, and then we blend the edges and blend it in a bit. And you could totally blend Mahogany all throughout the eyelid area and just intensify everything. And this would be a really stunning all matte smoky eye. Before we get into any shimmers, let's use the last matte shade, and that is Extreme Dusk, which I'm grabbing with this same brush. And I'm going to add to the outer third of my eyelid. And then once again, blend it upwards. But this one, we're going to barely blend upwards. Just enough to not have any harsh lines, you know? But we don't want to intensify the whole thing too much. So we tap it, and then I'm literally just not even swiping back and forth because that would blend it too much. Instead of going like this, I'm just going like that. So just tapping it in place so it blends but not too much. I was comparing Bronze Eclipse to Bronze Blaze to see which one I wanted to put where. So I'm going to put Bronze Eclipse in the center of my eyelid so I can put this one in the inner third of the eyelid, which is a bit shinier but also a bit brighter. So back to Mothership number 6, we're grabbing Bronze Eclipse. And with my REPHR number 28, I'm going to pat it right in the center of my eyelid. And you can see how stunning this shade is right here in the center, and blending it into my smoky mattes. I feel like Pat McGrath shimmers sometimes don't get enough credit because we get so excited about her Astro Blitz shades and how amazingly those shine, that these, at least for me, get kind of forgotten about. Like if I grab a Mothership palette, I'm going to use an Astro Blitz shade, right? So I end up not using the regular shimmers as much, but these are beautiful shimmers. Let me know in the comments if you also do that. Do you reach for your Pat McGrath shimmers that much, or do you usually go for the Astro Blitz shades when you use a Mothership palette? Switching to Mothership number 5 now, I'm going to use Bronze Bliss. This is a REPHR number 2 brush, and I'm going to add it to the inner third of my eyelid, tapping and swiping it all through this area here and blending it into the other shimmer. For my under eyes, I'm going back to Extreme Dusk. This is a REPHR number 3 brush, and I'm going to just back and forth smudge it right underneath the outer third of my lower lash line. And then I'm going to grab Taboo and smoke the whole thing out. So I'm just taking it from the outer part all the way to my tear duct area. I'm using a mustardy eyeliner in my waterline to match the gold shades. This one is called Ochre from Glossier. And then for the inner corner, we're of course grabbing Skin Show Divine Glow from Mothership number 5 and just brightening things right in here. I'm using a REPHR number 26 for this. Check out the look before I put on any mascara or lashes. Back with mascara and lashes, and I also went ahead and put some stuff on my lips. This is Bengal from ColourPop and Anastasia in Muted Mauve. Everything is of course listed and linked down below. Anyways, I am dying to know what you guys think of this mini palette that is coming from Pat McGrath. I'm obviously very excited about it, and I love the color story of it. I am wearing all 6 of the shades right now. So these are the types of looks that you can expect to get from this palette. Like I said, for me, the main reason I want it myself is convenience. Leaving my house with a palette this size that I can literally fit in the palm of my hand and that I can do several different looks with, I think is absolutely amazing. I think it is incredible, and so therefore I am very excited to get my hands on this one, even though I already have all of the shades. So I really hope that you liked the review of the new Sublime Smoke palette from Pat McGrath. I'm definitely going to be grabbing this one during the Sephora VIB sale, and if you want to see what else Pat McGrath is releasing, her new bronzers and her entire bronze collection is now available on her website, which I have linked down below. And here's a video I did where I talked about my first impressions on that whole collection and what I'm grabbing from it. So go watch that one if you haven't already. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave, and I hope to see you back in the next one. Bye.